the first ever edition of the SY Tonight Show, hosted by myself, Sam Sutton, and we'll be having sporadically on guests from small business owners or anyone that's really interested in the Syrian community that would like to share their skills. Tonight, in front of a live studio audience, we'll be having on our first ever guests. It'll be the partners and directors of Camp M&N, Rabbi Norman Cohen and Coach Max Sutton. Come on in, boys. Nice to have you on. Good to see you again.
See you too.
Hello, Brother Sam.
How you doing? Long time no speak.
I think you guys know each other.
Yeah, just a little bit. All right, so we have front and center, Rabbi Norman, Rabbi Coach Max, just Coach Max.
What you like.
All right, Coach Max. I'm actually gonna just jump right into this, and I have so many questions in regarding to Camp M&N. I mean, I know somewhat of a background, but I really never asked, certain questions, and I think a lot of people in the audience and people that are watching at home are actually pretty curious to see. Question number one, first of all, how did this combination ever even come about? How did this happen?
You want to answer?
So Rabbi Norman and I have known each other maybe since we were little kids, right? Running around. And this isn't the first time we've worked together. We worked together as Chazan together on the holidays for a couple of years, and we always stayed friends, of course. We had a little bit of a, I don't want to say a lull, but a pack of years where we see each other, it's a hi, how are you, but wasn't as maybe
warm.
tight as could be and warm as it was earlier on. And it was a perfect storm, really.
Yeah, but how did the combination happen?
Yeah, so when we say a perfect storm, really the first year we started camp was the pandemic COVID year. And we were one of the only camps in town that actually opened up. Rabbi Norman had a camp running for, 18 years already, right? A very successful, fun camp. That
was called Camp Don.
Camp Don. I knew a little bit about, maybe not so much. And Rabbi Norman was looking to change things up a little bit for a couple of reasons. I guess you could dabble in if you wanted. And I was open to looking to do something in camp.
Well, I know for the longest time, Max, you've been looking to open something up, doing something in this arena. And I guess when this opportunity presented itself.
So it's funny, not really, I wasn't always thinking camp. A lot of guys would ask me, Max, why don't you do a camp? Why don't you jump in and get involved in it? And a lot of times my answer was, I have so many friends involved. Rabbi Norman has a camp, this guy has a camp, that guy has a camp. God bless them all, they're all doing good.
So really when COVID hit and people were, having...
But we did it before COVID, really.
Yeah.
Like we agreed to do it before COVID.
But I'm saying it's amazing. People's businesses actually took a hit during COVID. It actually propelled your business because of the circumstances of all the camps closing down.
It definitely enabled everybody to give an eye and see what Rabbi Norman was always doing and what we could bring. So I've done children's leagues for the last 20 some odd years. So we took that spice that I have and the bundle of spices that Rabbi Norman brings, and we tried to mend it together, and that was what Camp M&N started as and continues to build, and we try to stay creative.
So Rabbi Norman, for you as someone that was used to operating a camp solo, how was the combination and how was the adapting period of getting to work with somebody?
That's a great question.
It's a great question.
The first 2 days of camp, you hated
The first, no, I never hated it. So the first couple of weeks, it was definitely an adjustment. I was very uncomfortable.
Control freak.
Yeah, I'm a little bit of a control freak as it is in everything I do. Except in my house because I have somebody controllier and freakier that runs the house. But anyway. But no, so I was a little bit nervous. I was a little bit like, at that time I was uncomfortable and I was certainly frustrated. And I was ready to give up. I really was.
That quickly?
Yeah, after 2 or 3 weeks, I was done. And actually, was Max doesn't know this, but actually, Fafa and Moshe, Rabbi Nathaniel and Rabbi Moshe Shalom,
which I guess we'll get into a little later in this segment.
Said you're just uncomfortable because you're uncomfortable. You and Max are two very good people. You grew up together. Eventually, this will work out. And when they said that, I relaxed a little bit, and I started to notice that. Even though I'm always used to handling things, Max does a lot of things way better than I do. And the things that I do, that Max really respects me on that. So it's like usually the first. So
what makes a successful partnership usually is you acknowledging that there's strengths that you don't have, and vice versa on both ends. You guys working together, and obviously we see, what year are we going on now?
We're going on our 4th year.
So going on our 4th season upcoming now. So
Yeah.
obviously you guys worked out the kinks, and you're always looking to expand and grow and make things better. So
And we talk, literally, I'm sorry to cut you off. We talk with 7 o'clock in the morning, we're on the phone. Every break,
7:45
every break, I'm on the phone with Mac. So we have a great working relationship because there's a mutual respect between the two of
I
us.
just wanted to get into it because beforehand, I didn't mention it, Rabbi Norman was my youth director in Deal
Long time
Shul.
ago. A lot of other people too.
And listen, the birth of Abraham and Yitzi, I don't know if that's a thing that the studio
It's a
audience knows.
legacy.
It's a legacy. So I was there. I still tell my children the stories till today. All you got to do is take some Indiana Jones movie and change the names. It's really all it is. But it's good stuff. Next question I got for you is, what ages does the camp cater to?
Go ahead, you could jump.
So we have three divisions, 2 separate camps, but 3 divisions. We have a like a tiny tot type, which caters to 3-year-old to 6-year-olds. That's Max's wonderful wife, Maura Rachel Sutton, handles that, and she grew it from having, I think, the first year 50 kids to now it's got almost 150 children there. It's growing, thank God. And then we have our other camp, which has going into 1st grade through going into 9th grade. And that's split into older and younger kids going into 5th through 9th, and the younger is going into 1st through 4th. So we pretty much deal with ages from 3rd grade, from 3-year-olds until a kid is 14.
So really you're running the entire gamut on all ages,
Yeah.
both boys and girls.
Well, now girls.
Now girls upcoming this year, so God willing that'll be a
Praise that
success, and we'll grow that. And also, on the younger division for the boys, who is the person, like who are the rabbis and who are the directors for that?
So when you say younger division, that's Rabbi Moshe Shalom. The tiny tots, maybe we'll get into a little bit later. That's my wife.
We call that juniors.
Junior.
M&N juniors.
M&N Junior. But as far as 1st through 5th grade, I was just talking to a mother today. And she's a new mother with her oldest boy being a boy going into 1st grade. So that's always a fun mother to talk to. They're very nervous going in, coming from being in a tiny tot program to going into a big camp. And something to have Rabbi Moshe Shalom, who's the man in charge. I think Rabbi Norman, he was with you for 15 years before this.
Yeah, 15,
He's with us for 3, going on to the 4th. He's the best. There's no other way. He's the warmest person you'll ever know. He knows every kid by their first name, knows every little thing about them. He runs the program. He's got a sweetness to him and a warmth to him that everybody feels. And him being the head of that junior division, I shouldn't say junior division, younger division, is really amazing. Now, something else that Rabbi Norman, first thing you ever told me when we started camp, we hire counselors that are married men. And a lot of people go, wow, that's crazy. It's a big expense. It's how many guys you need. We have Rabbi David Franco in our 1st grade.
It's unbelievable.
I mean, he was my head counselor. I think it was your head counselor.
Yes.
Right? From shift days to
Deal Yeshiva camp, and he's a legend of a man.
He's
He
the
really
best. Rabbi Norman wrote a song after him that we have kids singing till today. Okay? Rabbi Franco. But him being our 1st grade division head counselor is an incredible responsibility. Meaning we could leave the kids on the field and not worry. Talk about safety, and you have a man who's been running a camp of 400
You
children.
can't quantify what that means.
Now, of course, there's 18-year-olds that we have hired and 19-year-olds with them, but he's that division head. So when you have someone like a Rabbi Franco, or even like a Rabbi Sasson that we have,
Or just in the younger division, 1st through 4th grade, you have a Rabbi Franco and a Rabbi Moshe Irani, who have both been head counselors in their own right.
Correct.
They're counselors and division heads of their division.
It's like you're building an all-star staff.
It's the only way.
And every which way you turn,
Correct.
you have another person that
Right,
is
you have-
equal
exactly.
in responsibility.
Yeah, Rabbi Irani, like Rabbi Norman said, with the 3rd and 4th grade on the field, he's taking care. He's running the situation. Yeah, if I'm there, Rabbi Norman's there. It's just adding to it, and of course we try to be everywhere. But a big part of building a beautiful camp and a successful camp is having a great staff. So Rabbi Moshe Shalom being the head of that younger division is amazing.
So we heard about the younger division, and who is the head counselor of the older division?
So that's none other than, I would say he's one of the most famous rabbis in our community now.
No, most famous men in the
Men.
world.
There's nobody busier than him. I just said a line to a woman before we came in today, right? Busy people get things done. So there's nobody busier than him, and he'll always get everything done. Rabbi,
You still didn't say his name.
Rabbi File Natanel, everybody.
Yes, Rabbi Netano is the best.
So Fafa I'm talking about.
Well,
That's how I know. That's how I know him. Rabbi
Way
Nathan.
back, but now he's a rabbi, and he's actually, I work with him in YDE now. He's one of my bosses, you could say, and he does so much. And what an addition he is for our camp. We're grateful that we have him there, and we love him. And he runs the same way we were saying with Rabbi Shalom. What's amazing about Rabbi Shalom and Rabbi Netano, we love them, and they get it done so well and so differently.
Yeah.
And that's great. They're different people, and that's also what's amazing. The personalities aren't all identical. He's Rabbi Netano. He has his own way of doing it, his own way of communicating with the kids. Sometimes you laugh your head off, sometimes you scratch your head, but he always gets it done in the best way possible. And he puts out a fire better than anybody you could ever know. And regarding putting together trips, whether it's a grand trip, overnights, having the schedule together, Rabbi Netano and Rabbi Shalom working hand in hand like that, they're amazing. They're great at it. And Rabbi Netano being in charge of the older division and having Rabbi Shalom in the younger division, it's awesome.
Okay, so now this camp, obviously, you're talking about the staff, and I'm going to get into another question in a minute, but really, if I would have to ask you and put you on the spot and say, who are you catering to for this camp, how would you answer that?
It's a great question. Nothing we spoke about before. What we have, 7 different schools in our camp?
Right, so it's a melting pot of schools. You have...
Right.
It's a melting pot of schools, but not a melting pot of ideals.
Correct.
Not a melting pot of values. Children, boys who want to be in a, we'll use, it's a frum, religious, sheltered environment. One that will, cultivate their love of Torah, make sure that they're learning for a large portion of the day, give them the midot that they need and the value for insulating themselves from the rest of the craziness of the world, especially, sometimes the Jersey Shore in the summer, they should send us.
So now, okay, you just mentioned the learning. What is the learning structure? Is there organized learning every single day? And if so, who is in charge of running that program?
That's the best. That's the best. So talking about the 7 schools, like Rabbi Norman said, just to echo what he said, it is the more, it's the yeshivot. There's so many beautiful yeshivot in our community, and there's so many camps in our community. And you know what? Every camp has a necessity. There can't just be a camp Eminem. You need other camps in town. So we do cater to the more, the ones that are looking to learn, and the ones that are looking to do that. And no better, he's coming in for his 4th year with us. I think he might have been the first acquisition we made when we were together.
That's true.
Okay, he was the first person we grabbed, and again, lived down the block from you and I.
Yep.
And his first
Still
cousin,
never said his name yet.
Yeah, I'm still waiting. The suspense is killing me.
It's
I only know who it is because you said live down the block from me.
well, we had a few in deal, not that many people, but Rabbi Raymond Fallick.
Oh, number
Okay.
one.
like he's announcing him into a ring.
Right. Now about thing.
Rabbi Raymond Fallick is talk about bringing it all. When you have your kishkas into it, like he has this energy
Love,
about him, and
exuberance.
love, yes, and he wants every single kid to succeed, and he'll do the craziest to make them do so. If I would tell somebody that Rabbi Raymond Fallick was learning with this and this kid at night after camp at 8:30 on his own time, doing his not necessarily for pay, even just to see the kid because he wanted him to progress. This is true. Yeah. I'm not making it up.
One of the most beautiful parts of camp is come in the morning, 8:30 in the morning. Rabbi Fallick has a volunteer learning Mishnayot pre-camp program and you have 20 to 25 boys sitting from 8:30 to 9 o'clock just around Rabbi Falik, listening to him say the Mishnah. Like, I mean, just that's unheard of. I mean, learning in camp when I started was unheard of. You know what I mean? And learning before camp voluntarily, like, it's amazing. But
they're making carpools.
Right, they're making carpools. He's a magnet. He's a magnet because of his exuberance.
When somebody really cares, the children actually feel that, they understand
100%.
it,
It's so
and they
true.
gravitate towards it.
100%.
So having someone like that on board is invaluable, especially in this department.
So he puts together the learning. You asked before, is there
A structure.
Is there a structure? So he's a principal right now, actually,
Right.
of Shah.
Just to stop this, on staff, just so we could just clarify this, on staff we have, may continue, Rabbi David Franco, who's principal of a school in Lakewood, Rabbi Moshe Irani, who's principal in the afternoon by Rabbi Yozeri's school. We have Rabbi Moshe Shalom, Mekor Chaim. Rabbi Moshe Shalom, who's principal in Lev Torah. Rabbi Natana, who's principal of YDE. And Rabbi Raymond Falik, who's now principal of Sha'arei Torah. So that means it's on staff we have 5 administrators in schools of the community. Nobody can boast that.
It's 5 aces on the staff.
You have 5 aces, but there's other really, really great people also. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying that nobody could boast that. Nobody can say
awesome.
that.
I never thought of that.
No, I just want to change gears a little bit. You mentioned before
And then
about-
you also have me.
And then you also have Coach Max. So respectively,
Who's
the
that?
best in each, of their arena.
Correct.
So now you mentioned before the 3, 4, and 5-year-old program, and you mentioned before that Mora Rachel is running that. You want to get into more of that a little bit, because I know a lot of the audience is looking, with that age child, not knowing where to send their child. Just give me more of a background of how
So
that is.
my wife, Mora Rachel, still till today does a play group where she does it and she keeps it small. People have been asking her for years, why don't you expand? Why don't you make it bigger? She has a waiting list, mashallah, God bless. Every year there's 30 people that want to come. She only takes 10. 40 people want to come. She's still only taking 10. When we started camp, I asked my wife, Rabbi Norman asked as well. Together we sat down and we said, she was working in other camps. And we asked her to head the division. And Baruch Hashem, it's been nothing but, it's been great. She put together what I personally loved. So I'm there in the morning. Like a lot of times in the morning, Rabbi Norman grabs the bull by its horns with Rabbi Falik. And he's there, part of the learning groups in the morning, taking care of it, making sure the kids are where they belong, making sure there's no danger going on. Rabbi Norman's he's got eyes behind his head with that. And during learning groups, he's part of making sure it's all running perfectly. It gives me the liberty to be there. So I'm actually there a lot in the morning. A lot of times people say, where's Coach Max? And I'm working with the 5-year-olds, and I love it. I really do. What I also love that my wife brings to it is that awesome flavor. For example, just a little thing that I absolutely adored, and so many of the parents loved, a rabbi every week. And they made like a rabbi pamphlet. And every week they're learning about a different Talmid Chacham, whether it's from our community or Steinman or Chaim, and we do stories of the rabbis. And Rabbi Norman will come in and do learning groups. Sometimes I'll do that. So it's not just doing sports with the kids, not just having fun and doing sing-alongs in the morning and doing your swimming and doing your program, your carnivals and the trips, and it's all good and it's all needed and it's all awesome. But there's that Yehud flavor that's like infused to all of it. They made a Hachnasat Orchim Day where my grandma and my father and my mother all came, and all the kids are doing Hachnasat Orchim for them, and it was all related with Berachot, and it's a program that's put together where I think a lot of the parents that are there see it. There's that warmth that we love, and it's a full program that has not a minute to spare. It's from 9 to 4 for the 4 and 5-year-olds, till 3:30 or 3, I believe, for the 3-year-olds. But it's a packed day. The Moras have what to do all day long. It's a packed schedule, and there's that awesome. It's sort of what we're saying with our camp with Rabbi Raymond. It like brings them in. It all makes sense. It's all one thing, and it's a program that, like you said, we're built to capacity. I mean, unless we find more room, with Hashem's help, you never know,
Well,
we're stuck.
Speaking about more room, we know we're bringing on now, as you mentioned before, a new girls division. How did that come about, A? And B, how are you guys going to be associated? Are you guys acting individual? You're acting as one full camp in two separate buildings?
Okay, so
It's a great question.
can I take this one? I just want to say something that he said because I know he's talking about his, the juniors, which is his wife's division. So I could say something as, his wife. Maybe he didn't want to compliment her, but she is on top of every part of every child's day, from 8 o'clock in the morning when they're on the bus till 5 o'clock till they get home, and every nano inch of every single child. How she does it, I don't know. Her projects are off the chart. Her creativity and how everything, goes together with something else. It's just unbelievable. It's really, really
It's all there.
unbelievable.
I see
It's
it every
really,
day.
really unbelievable. She's the most dedicated person. I think our first year, she had a baby in the summer. 3 days after she had a baby, on her way back from the hospital, she came to camp so she could pack up stuff, and to make sure it was amazing.
I got in trouble for that. My mother still took it over.
Okay, now the girls camp, so I'll take on that. So you asked how to come about. I think that we always felt that there is a need for more options for girls on the Jersey Shore in our niche, which is, like we said before, people who want to insulate their children from a lot of the craziness of the world, and have a more religious and wholesome environment for their children. And we always had that in mind, that we always wanted to do it, and we got the opportunity to hire Rebbitzin Marlene Haber, wife of Rabbi Joey Haber, and she's not the perfect person for the job. She's the only person for the job. It's very evident. And so when she became available and we had conversations with her, and she was as into it as we were, we decided to get together. On the other point, the other question that you asked, which was, is it going to be separate or is it going to be together? Obviously, we have two separate camps, boys and girls don't mix. But, just today, Max and I were on a conference call with Rebbitzin Haber. We're very, very much involved. She shares our vision of a warm, structured, wholesome, atmosphere for the children. She shares that vision. So she's on the phone with us constantly. Or
She's
texting
been
back and
going
forth.
over her schedule with us.
Right.
We're
So it
getting
is
our
separate.
ideas.
It is two different buildings, two different places, but it's definitely going to be an eminent.
Okay,
An
so
eminent place.
we have in total, it sounds like 4 or 5 separate divisions. What is your, goal of having children enrolled? Is there a certain number, or it's endless? Do you have a cap, or are you always looking to add more and getting more space?
We wish and hope to be able to add more, because the more people want to come, we'd love to have them, and we want to make a fun summer
I'm saying if somebody
experience
calls
for
you,
everybody.
50 people call you more than you had last year, you don't have space for them technically. Are you going to make space, or are you saying, no, I'm capped out?
So with Hashem's help, if we can find closet space, we'll throw them in. But the truth is, right now we're really up to capacity. Baruch Hashem, year to year things change. There's some kids that go to sleepaway camp for a year that we miss them. You get different kids from different schools. It's the way Hashem, makes things work. We always say it's in Hashem's hands, because you can never ever, explain how things work. But we love to expand. We would love to.
And the community is growing. There's going
That
to
was-
be.
I was going to chime
There
in.
is
For the girls' camp thing, that's another reason. The community, Baruch Hashem, is getting bigger and bigger, in our summer community especially. There's people that, our mom does real estate. People are renting houses. It used to be, you rent in this package of town for the Jersey people. It went past Highway 35. People are renting homes.
Well,
and Baruch
we're
Hashem,
right now. We're right now filming on Old Deal Road. Old Deal Road, if people know, is like right behind where ShopRite used to be, right by Route 35, and we have a whole community.
There's a whole, mashallah, booming community. Rabbi in the shul here that's expanding, right?
Yeah.
It's looking to
The
grow
point
bigger.
is we're growing,
So
and
there's
there's
growth.
always going to be that need.
So there is that need, and Baruch Hashem, Torah is only becoming more and more popular, and our community is only becoming closer and closer to the great rabbis we have, and it's awesome. So when you ask, do we want a lot more coming? You better believe it. We want to put people in a situation We didn't. I could talk about Rabbi Raymond Fowler for hours. We could have spent a show just on Rabbi Raymond alone. When he calls us in about a month and a half from now about his curriculum, I'm doing this Gemara this year. We're doing this Mishnah, and I call Rabbi Norman. I go, Rabbi, why is he doing a new Mishnah? We have 500 copies of the one we did 2 years ago. Let's just do that again. He goes, no way. That boy memorized that one by heart. He's not doing that again.
So it sounds like everyone on the staff is all in. Everyone bought in, and everyone
it's so much fun.
Drank the Kool-Aid, so to speak. Which is a good thing. I got a question for you. Just again to change gears a little bit. You mentioned before about trips, but you don't really tell me like where you guys go. Do you guys go overnights? Do you guys go out? What do you guys do in regards to trips?
So when you ask that question, I'm going to leave Rabbi Norman to do trips, but I'm going to jump in first and talk about sports because I just know this is the entertainment part of things. Right, and once 11:30 strikes in camp, or 12 o'clock for the older boys, they have their breaks in between, of course. And just to mention, it's not exactly school. The learning is hardcore, but there's always fun attached to it, with trips attached to it, and goals to be made, and kids go get something for that with raffles.
I see you guys provided some of these trophies, so I know you guys actually play competitively, so that's a good thing.
So when 11:30 or 12 strikes, we have leagues for the older boys, whether it's softball, which is usually the most popular, basketball. We have a state-of-the-art place that we get that we use for the older division, the younger division sometimes. Those leagues, they're fun. I mean, it gets real. And one of the hardest jobs for our council sometimes is just to be umpire or be referee in a game because they're nervous. They don't want to make another kid feel bad. And this game's going to be so close, and it's real. And I love it. I mean, we keep it healthy, and we want everybody smiling. One of my favorite things that happened last year, I refereed a basketball game, and it was a overtime game. Someone had Mark Hazen hit a 3 to go into double overtime, and then something else happened. They were mad at a call I made, and one boy, I'm not going to say the boy's name, maybe you wouldn't want me to say it, really, his emotions got so upset at me, and he was like, how could you do that, Coach Max? You made the wrong call. He had me questioning myself. The next day, the kid came over to me, and he went, Coach Max, I'm sorry if I got mad at you. When I got home, I realized that I was just upset that I lost the game. I loved it. The kid said that to me, like I almost cried. I'm like, wow, he felt
also
bad.
Validated your call.
And maybe a little bit, but he made he felt bad afterwards, and I loved it because he was into it. But then again, he took a step back afterwards and said, "All right, I'm a Jewish kid. We lost the game. It's okay. Maybe I should go say I'm sorry that I got a little, frazzled." But it's sports is great. But one of the things about the sports, I had a mother also call me last week. My kid's not that into sports. I said, well, your kid's not that into sports. You're in the right place. She goes, what do you mean I'm in the right place? You tell me the sports are great. We go out of our way to get the best jerseys for each kid and all that. I said, we make sure, and this I learned from Rabbi Norman and Rabbi Natano, there's a balance that has to be made. And that's something Rabbi Natano, Rabbi Shal, Rabbi Norman taught me, and I'll let Rabbi Norman take it from here when it comes to the trips. And go for it. Have a good time.
Yeah. You want the most competitive sports that you could have. There's nobody. I mean, you're talking to the guy when it comes to, children's leagues and things like that, especially on the Jersey Shore. There is nobody better in our community, I think, than Coach Max. That's why he's Coach Max. He's been doing it for years. He grew up with it. He's invented from it. He's made from it. That's what he does. Nobody could.
It's funny. I run an adult league with Sammy.
Right.
And we bring a lot of that to camp.
Yeah, a lot. So it's funny, and we'll get back to your trips.
Yeah.
Back in 2003 and 2004, I believe it was, we actually started the first ever, we have the M&S Baseball League.
Right.
So we started, it was M&S Kids. That's how it came about. And we were in between school and, or camp in school, 2-week period.
I remember that.
No one had anything to do. We just decided one day, let's just make a few phone calls, and lo and behold, 2 days later, we had 75 kids dropped us on Truax Avenue behind,
scratching our heads.
We're like, whoa, there's 75 kids here, and guess what? It grew to 150 by week 2.
Unbelievable.
So that's how we actually got involved with the sports and the leagues, and then from there, obviously, Max morphed into a lot larger, and what he's doing right now, obviously. But that's where really the genesis of it came from. And you said about the adult leagues, I'll tell you right now, it is probably easier to run the kids leagues than the adult leagues because the adult leagues are acting like more kids than kids.
Yeah, exactly, more babies.
No, but what I like is we take a lot of the flavor that Sammy and I in the adult leagues and we infuse it into the camp. Like I said before, doing jerseys, recording things, doing videos, and just
It makes
announcing
people feel like they're a part of something
Exactly.
special.
So
That's
we have 45-year-olds loving it because they feel like they're in it. So Rabbi Norman and I now in camp try to bring that to the kids, and it's great. It's great. There's something else I'm going to bring up to Rabbi Norman afterwards, but I want you to say.
Yeah, I want to hear about the trips.
So basically, obviously, we just on the point because he's bringing up the trips. I want to explain the trips, but he's bringing up the trip as part of a balance. We always believe in a balance. There isn't one size fits all. Not with kids. Not in education. Not in entertainment. Kids have different tastes. Kids have different wants. Kids have different needs. If you only play sports, you're obviously not going to be catering to every kid. But not only that, you're not going to get a kid who's on the borderline. He's not going to want to play the sports because it's an overkill for him. It's too much. But now it's part of a complete package where, sports, swim, trip, learning.
To get them
and this is my sports part of the day. It's a healthy balance. He gets it and he understands. Okay, so I can do that. If it's every day and it's everything, and just also to the other point is everything we do. This is the Torah. We do to the fullest. When it's time for work, we work to the fullest. When it's time to play ball, you play ball to the fullest. You don't do anything half baked. So the sports is obviously the best possible. I think Max bought a jersey to show everybody. Every team has a name. Every team has a name. Every kid's got a different name on the back of his jersey. Whoa! From the crowd.
Good ball play. As an example, like last year, we did all different jerseys. This was the Israeli Mossad. We have a good friend of ours make it.
Shout out Morris Casson. Thank you so much for all the hard work.
And every year we come up with a new concept. I'm excited we have a new concept cooking now. We'd like to give a thank you to a couple of the boys that came up with it. Some campers of ours during the
candies and things like that, But as far as the trips are concerned, so trips are have to be great. There's only so much you can do because everything's been done. But last year we went speed boating and tubing, and we went to water parks, American Dream Water Park, and we went skirmishing, paintballing, and then we also did like a laser type of like a laser type of skirmish out in the woods with laser guns, which is really, really cool. Kingsburg Water Park we rent out exclusively to ourselves, and then we have 2 overnights a year, and the overnights are legit packed.
Maybe too much.
Right, maybe too much. Maybe too much. From the morning, 9 o'clock and 8 o'clock in the morning, they're loading a bus until the next night, 12 o'clock at night, and it's constant just moving around, zip lining last year, and
tubing down
the Delaware River, and a million different things, and just like not
I think
remembering.
Beta might still be.
Yeah. Somebody's still in the river.
Yeah,
And all these trips are organized and put together by Rabbi Moshe Aradi?
By
Rabbi Shalom?
Rabbi Shalom and Rabbi Rafal Natano.
Oh, Rabbi Natano. Okay.
Rabbi Natano does that, yeah. In fact, they're working on it now. Probably as we speak, they're on the phone on a conference somewhere talking about what trips they're going to do, because you have to really book a lot of these things in advance. There's a Dorney Park and Dutch Wonderland we went to last year. A million different.
Wherever there is to go, you're there. It sounds like.
Yes,
almost
pretty much.
Now, how about the stuff that comes to
Buster's.
How about the stuff that comes to the camp? Like you have.
So it's interesting. The first year we did a lot of that
Because it was COVID.
Well, it was COVID.
We try to mix it up a little bit. The junior division, more Rachel does that a lot. We're bringing puppet shows and magic shows and the bubble shows for the little kids, and Dr. Schnitzel, who was a big hit last year, even with us. So we do bring. We had some of the big magicians come. We had the Shlomo Levinger came a couple of years ago.
Nice.
Eric Wilzig.
Yeah,
he was really well.
Well, this year we had the carnival guys that come with these big giant
that was
bouncing
fun.
things.
Do a big carnival.
They
The
came.
bike shows. So we do have our portion of bringing into camp, but for the most part, if we're doing stuff in camp, we have such a talented crew in camp that usually that's something we do.
Well, listen, Ralph Grazia owns entertainment.
There you go,
You
that's
don't
right.
gotta call anyone to come.
You can put that man in front of everybody from day one of the summit to the end of the
Literally,
summit.
you go.
While we do trips, we don't know.
And we have like Nehemiah Katz who gives us a concert or two every year, and the kids love it. We rock out, and it's so much fun.
And then you mentioned Elliot Nugget Beta, who does a lot in camp
Right,
every day. Just we.
No,
I think
we love
he actually sleeps there during the winter also.
We wish he could be in camp, but unfortunately he's not there enough. But whatchamacallit? Oh, so for example, when I say in-house stuff, we're incorporating something this summer I'm very excited about. I just brought it up last week to Rabbi Norman. We do late nights. Some people say too many late nights. Some people say not enough. Can't please everybody. We do our best, like we say, to do a balance. We're going to do late nights kumsitz this coming summer. 6th grade is going to have around the pool a barbecue with a kumsitz, and it's going to be a late night awesome. I can't wait. And we're going to do it with the 6th grade. A vibe, yeah. We're going to have it with the 6th grade alone, the 8th grade alone, the 5th grade alone. So not on the same night, they'll split up nights or allow us to have more kumsitzes, I guess. But that's like something that's homey. It's not necessarily go to American Dream Water Park, which we do, but it brings that camp thing.
So where did we come up with this idea? Last year we took the
Yes.
8th and 9th grade on a boat at night. We catered Mazza, and we went to Point Pleasant.
From Sarah's tent?
That's it was.
No?
This year
It will be.
It will be. And
Shameless plug.
it will be. It will be taken from Sarah's tent. The bill, we'll pay you. Checks in the mail. Anyway, but and we went to go, a boat ride, a beautiful boat ride, and we saw on a Thursday night we saw the fireworks in Point Pleasant. We actually saw a couple of humpback whales on the way, so we got whale watching also, which was really cool.
But it was a great night. The whole boat that got
we were singing, the vibe, the chill, every part of it had a very
It was awesome. It was a great
sleepaway
night.
camp type of feel.
Listen, it seems as if you took a lot of the principles that you also got from Camp Shift there back in the day, and you're incorporating
say
it
that.
into a day camp.
I think of Rabbi Wallace theme all the time. I really do.
Lume Shalom and
Yes.
Adish. It sounds like
Right.
everything that you're doing, it's being recreated,
A
but
lot of
done
the
better.
stuff I do in color war, I could say plagiarism. I stole from Rabbi Wallace theme, but you know what? It worked when I was a kid. We do that grand hockey thing by color war. Oh my goodness, it's so much fun. I'm not going to explain it now, but yeah, we do try to take things from others that we.
Listen, you see things that are successful elsewhere, and you're trying to bring it to the table and trying to bring it to the fray over here. It seems as if you've been doing that and you continue to do that, and you're going on to year 4, so obviously things are going well. Before we sign off over here, is there anything new that we should be anticipating or expecting, or anything you have in the works cooking? Are there any surprises?
We went through a whole interview talking about camp, talking about the vibes of camp, talking about what we do in camp, how the kids love it, how there's a family feel. It would be criminal to finish the whole interview and talk all about camp. And I wanted to bring this up to Rabbi Norman privately also, but you talk about new, Rabbi Norman could write a new song every day.
Yeah, so I actually purchased the Camp M&N summer album last year on iTunes, and also I think it's on SoundCloud, and it was pretty good actually.
Okay,
and I'm actually looking forward to volume number 2.
So Rabbi Norman wrote a couple of songs last year, and it's something that makes lunch. And I can't believe we didn't say this either. Grandma Lunch Lady. Okay, the lunch was Rebbitzin Adele in charge of the lunch, doing it for the entire camp, and what a success it was. But the lunchroom is not just chow and slap. I mean, sometimes it has to be, but there's a time Rabbi Norman will come up with a new song. You'll have 150 kids packed in the lunchroom. We'll try to do it separate divisions, eating their pizza quietly with Rabbi Norman singing a version of Mordechai Shapiro's Friends song called No Friends, about how nobody loves me. And it turns into the grand slam of the day. All right? We might have a juggler coming later, we might go to a trip, but all the kids packed in there sweating, shouldn't be, we wish the AC always worked, but sweating, listening to him singing, and everybody singing it together. It's unbelievable. And then just from there, they'll break out into 3 old songs that we sang from last year because just everybody wants to do it. And that's one of the vibes the camp brings. You know, you have Rabbi Norman bringing that, infusing that into the camp. That's someone no one else has. That's nowhere.
This is what the uniqueness of Rabbi Norman and Coach Max bring to the table.
No, we mentioned uniqueness. We never mentioned the FEF.
Oh, forget it.
Get me a copy of that FEF.
I have no idea what a FEF is. Talk to me.
So, this is our
This becomes
12-page colored newsletter weekly. That's a authorized sealed copy, but it's limited with all tremendous amount of content to it, and pictures and colors, and every kid all the time is like, hey, Rabbi, could you put me in the FEF? Coach Max, could you put me in the FEF?
Where does the name FEF originate from?
We don't know. It's funny every Friday, fun every Friday. We don't
know.
Mind if I take
Either
this
way.
home?
No, we have a full copy for you over
Perfect. Thank you very much.
So there is about
It's a
8
gift.
of them.
A gift for you. We'll
Already gift.
autograph it right there. That's the front cover right there.
And this that did become.
Beautiful.
This isn't the kids that even want it only. This is the parents read this.
Yeah.
Well,
And
this
it
is for the parents, really.
It's unbelievable. There's so much content that Rabbi Norman said, whether it's funny or just.
It's other ways to get kids to shine. Every person, every human being on the planet wants to be relevant, wants to shine, wants to have their moment. And whether it's singing in the lunchroom, whether it's on the basketball court, whether it's on a baseball field, whether it's in learning groups, whether it's on a trip on a roller coaster, or whether it's getting his picture in the book and getting interviewed for the newsletter,
taking care of a rabbit.
or taking care of our makeshift pet store.
Rabbi Norman bought a rabbit, a duck, get this
No,
more.
just a rabbit and a duck.
Okay, no, there was a lot. And hamster.
Hamster.
Yes, there was, and we have children taking care of it. It's part of the. Coach Max, can I have the key to that room? What room? What? And I go in there and I see a duck with lights, and I don't know what's going on. And I go to Rabbi Norman afterwards, and he goes, "Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you. You forgot to. Okay, but you know what? 5 to 10 to 15 children, that ended up being their highlight. You know,
So the FEF runs through the summer. Do you ever plan on doing winter editions?
It was a thought. We spoke about
By
it.
the reunion, we will put out some sort of content.
There's discussion. There was discussion.
Ongoing discussion.
Is there anything else you want to bring up before we sign out here?
No, I think that we
Cover the gamut. I feel like we got a full understanding.
And I think I'm sorry, but I think that's the key. The key is that we make sure when a kid comes into camp that we're gonna make it our business to make sure that he shines.
So you cater to all. You're looking for different types of
100%.
ways to make each individual, as an individual, feel like they belong.
Correct.
And
Building the confidence of every kid, and that's part of
Making
all.
them feel fulfilled is a
all-
word
yes.
Coach Max uses all the time.
I'll say this on behalf of
That's the truth.
the SY Tonight Show and the Syrian community in general. We thank you for providing the service to the community, and I think you guys are doing a fantastic job. I think the numbers speak for themselves. I know you guys are, we don't want to turn anyone away but I heard registration is popping already from now.
Unfortunately, I hate to say this, but it could be people shut out. I really mean that.
So at home, I'll say it because they're not going to say it. You pay first, they ain't shutting you out. I'll tell you that.
It's true.
It's true. That's true. All right. Either way, thank you so much for coming on the SY Tonight Show, Rabbi Norman. I appreciate it. Coach Max, it's been real. I'll see you in a few minutes, I guess, in my car when I drive you back. But either way, thank you so much for tuning in. We're looking forward to having this show, I guess, whenever we have an interesting person in the community or an interesting business in the community that wants to share their story, then please come on the SY Tonight Show. Please DM me. I'll put my information on the bottom of this video. Looking forward to hearing from each and every one of you. And let's make this a thing. All right, thank you so much and have a good night.